All right, today we're going to decode the hidden language of images. It's this language that artists and designers, they use it every single day to talk to us, and a lot of the time, we don't even realize it's happening.
Have you ever wondered about that? You're just scrolling through your feed, and bam, one image just makes you stop. Or maybe you're in a museum, and out of all the paintings, one just pulls you in. That feeling, that pull, it's not magic, and it's definitely not an accident. It's all about design. So what's going on there? Well, it's because every single powerful image is speaking a language. Yeah, really. It's got its own vocabulary, its own grammar. And the cool part is, once you get the basics, you'll start seeing everything in a whole new light. So let's do it. Let's learn how to speak this language.
Okay, so just like any language, you gotta start with the alphabet, right? These are the absolute most fundamental building blocks of, well, everything we see. And it all starts with the line. Seriously, everything. You can think of it as the DNA of all visual communication. I love this one quote. An artist once said, "A line is just a dot that went for a walk." How great is that? And this super simple element, it's incredibly powerful. It can create shapes, hint at form, build entire structures, and get this, it can even communicate pure emotion. And that's the thing. Lines carry so much psychological weight. They're not just marks on a page. They're basically feelings you can see. Think about it. The soft, curved lines of rolling hills. They feel calm, right? Gentle. Now compare that to the sharp, jagged lines of a lightning bolt. Totally different feeling. It's all energy and anxiety. And artists, they're masters at using this to control exactly how we feel when we look at their work. So, what happens when a line loops around and meets itself? It creates a shape. We've just leveled up. We went from a simple path to a defined two-dimensional area. And this right here is the world of logos, icons, and symbols. They're also powerful because their shapes are so clear and simple. Okay, now let's take that flat shape and give it the illusion of depth. What do we get? We get form. This is how a circle becomes a sphere or a square becomes a cube. Form is what makes an object feel real, you know? It gives it that sense of weight and presence, making you feel like you could almost reach out and grab it. All right, so we've got our visual alphabet. We have lines, shapes, and forms. But where do we put them? What's the stage where all this action happens? Well, that brings us to the super important idea of space. Space is the stage. It's the canvas, the whole context for everything else. I mean, without space, all those lines and shapes are just floating around in a void. But once you put them in a space, suddenly they have relationships. They can be close together or far apart, crowded or all by themselves. And that's what creates tension or harmony. So, designers have two ways of looking at space. You've got your positive space, which is pretty straightforward. That's the main subject, the person, the logo, the words. But then you have the negative space. That's the quote-unquote empty area all around it. And trust me, it is just as important. It's kind of like the silence between the notes in a song. That silence is what gives the music its rhythm and meaning. Check this out. It's a perfect example. On a page like this, the text itself is the positive space. But it's all that negative space, the margins, the space between the lines, the gaps between paragraphs, that's what makes it possible to read. Without that breathing room, it would just be a big, overwhelming wall of text. A smart designer uses that negative space to create focus and to guide your eyes exactly where they want them to go. Okay, recap. We've got our core elements, we've got a space to put them in. Now it's time for the really fun part, adding the layers that give a piece of art its personality, its emotion, and what makes it feel real. First up, color. It's probably the most emotionally powerful tool in the box. But what's kind of wild is how we actually make color. On a screen, yep, the one you're looking at right now, we use something called an additive process. We're mixing red, green, and blue light together, and when you mix them all, you get white. But for printing on paper, it's the total opposite. It's subtractive. We're using inks that actually remove light from the white page. So it's two completely different ways to get to the same goal, a world full of color. All right, next up, texture. And there are two kinds. The first is tactile texture, the stuff you can literally feel. Think about a Van Gogh painting with those thick globs of paint. You could actually run your hand over it and feel it. But then there's visual texture, which is this amazing illusion. It's when an artist is so good, they can paint a surface to look like rough stone or smooth silk, even though the canvas is totally flat. It's this incredible trick of the eye that adds so much realism. So how do they pull it off?
How do artists create that powerful illusion of depth on a totally flat surface? Well, one of their biggest secrets is something called linear perspective. It's this brilliant system, and it's all based on a really simple observation. Parallel lines, like the sides of a road, look like they get closer and closer until they meet at a single vanishing point way off on the horizon. It's this one simple geometric trick that can turn a 2D drawing into a 3D world that feels so real you could just step right into it. Okay, so let's put it all together. We have our vocabulary now: line, shape, form, space, color, texture. The whole list. But a language isn't just a pile of words, right? You need grammar. You need rules to put those words together. And that's what's next, the principles that show us how to arrange all these elements into something beautiful and coherent. That is the art of composition. And these principles, they're the secret sauce behind every great design. Take balance, for example. That's what keeps an image from feeling like it's going to fall over. Or contrast, putting light next to dark, big next to small. That creates drama and grabs your attention. And unity, that's the magic that makes all the different pieces feel like they actually belong together. All of them work together to create this kind of roadmap for our eyes. And here's the absolute key takeaway. Great composition is never an accident. It's a whole series of conscious, deliberate choices. I love this quote. A sensitive design is conscious about it, and hence is respected for this intent. It really says it all. When you see an image that just works, it's because the artist or designer intentionally guided your entire experience from start to finish. Wow, we have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From a simple little line all the way to the complex rules of composition. So let's bring it all home. What does all this actually mean for us? If you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. In a strong visual, nothing is random. Every single line, every color choice, every tiny bit of empty space, it's all there for a reason. It's all part of a bigger conversation, and it has been meticulously designed to share an idea or even just to make you feel something. So, you now have the key. You can decode this language. The next time you look at a painting, or a movie poster, or a website, or even just the way a room is laid out, you can start asking those questions. Why'd they pick that color? What's up with that shape? How is the empty space moving my eye around? You've literally been given a new way to see the world. So the only question is, what are you going to find?